All right, guys, welcome to another episode of our SPY multi-time frame analysis. Um, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe down below. We do provide analysis every week, and we also have a live trading show for the SPY every morning from 6:30 a.m. 7 a.m. Pacific time. So the first 30 minutes of the session, we're we're riding in hot. We're 7 for 7 the past 3 weeks. Lots of momentum. It feels good, but we also know that, the market can hit us with uncertainty at any time. So with that being said, let's get right into the charts. Let's see what we could possibly expect for the next week's worth of price action. All right, so starting on our SPY weekly chart, if you just come into the last candle, you can see finally after our first 9 weeks of price action, the price action, stalled a bit near the top as we closed the year. You can see these nice full-bodied green candles, again, suggesting buyers have all the momentum. Finally start seeing some of those shadows or wicks up here. Finally, that shows that buyers are getting weak. We did mention this last week, and lo and behold, we have that selling candle, that first red candle in over 2 months. So pretty incredible. The run that the Bulls had, but it is time for a pullback. We'll see how long that pullback lasts. On a bar-to-bar count, the previous week we did have a higher high and higher low, but this week we had a lower high and a lower low. So sellers do go 2 for 2 on the count there. They were in full control this week. Pretty much every session ending red. Not necessarily a huge sell-off, but obviously just, a nice little pullback here. So what does that have in store for us? Well, if we zoom out on our chart here, you can see, get my little tools out. You can see we have a nice resistance, or previous resistance here at about, let's say about 459.50 to 460. And particularly if you come in to, this is a significant level. There's no doubt about it. Breaking above it, if you want to sustain upside continuation, the chance of a pullback to retest the breakout point, it's there. I would say that that's a valid point of interest for buyers if they did not capture any of this upside, likely looking for that dip right around 460. If we do hold that level, there is a good chance that we could see some upside there. Potentially something like this, go up, retest, and then, higher from there. Can make that green. So if you're a supply demand trader like I am, what you'll do here is you'll likely draw some sort of supply like this, and you'll notice that we broke way above that supply zone. Now we'd like to retest that for a move higher. So there is definitely a room here for the pullback to continue. So obviously there's the first weekly candle that's been red. Seeing that come into 460, I think it's going to be a really big level to keep on watch if we do end up touching it this week. Still a little bit a ways off. We're at about 468 here. This is about 459.50, 460. So 460 is the level to watch going into the week if we are to hit that level. You can see here also on the weekly chart, this is a very large green candle, definitely full-bodied as well. So I believe this was the FOMC week. This 459.50, 460 was literally the breakout point as well. A full-bodied green candle on the weekly chart. So the low of this candle also provides some additional confluence. That 460 is also going to be going to be another level to watch. So with that being said, that's what I see on the weekly chart. Again, sellers did dominate this week, but is it a pullback or is it something bigger? Let's take a look on our daily chart, see what we see there. So on a daily chart, I think we mentioned this last week, we had a bit of a range here. So we had a little bit of a ranging market going into the end of the year. And what happened was, we got two fails. So two failures to break this range. We call that look above. So I can look above and fail. Oops, I don't think that was the right tool. Path. Uh, we try and break out of this range, fail to do so, try it again, fail to do so. So could something like this be in the works? Well, let's see. If so, typically with the range break failures, the target is going to be the low of that range. So we did that on the first try. We also did that on the second try right here. So the target's been hit, there's no doubt about that. If the bulls want to come in and say, okay, you know what, sellers, you reached your profit target, it's time for us to step back in. You likely want to come back right above 471 here. It's a nice little resistance line. If you can see all the interactions with that level here at 471. So getting back above 471 will be key for bulls. If you want to transition this into some sort of continued downside back towards our weekly retest level at 415, 950, 460, so right about here, you'll likely want to come back. You could probably see that if we can't hold the bottom of this range at 467, 466. So holding 466, 467, in my opinion, is key if buyers want to see continued upside and particularly pushing back above 471 for the reversal higher. Some people could also say that this is a double top, although this high right here is a little bit higher than this one. So you can't say it's like a very exact double top. Most aren't exact, but a couple dollars worth of a difference. It really is up to interpretation, but the concept remains the same. We did fail to break out of this the upper bound of our range at 474. So we are looking for potential downside here. Nothing crazy, but seeing 460 would be the level of interest on our daily chart as well. Let's go ahead and look at our 4-hour chart now. See if it loads. There we go. So something more significant we can see here on this chart that does pique my interest. So this was the swing low near the end of October, where we began essentially this big uptrend right here. And you can see that we actually broke that trend line. So the trend line that essentially is keeping us, in that upside swing, that upside continuation from the swing lows, obviously you can see all the times it touches this trend line. We broke that trend line. And typically when we see a transition in market structure, you have to see a break of that trend line, and we have. So the question really does become, does this become a point of more major concern, right? Does this become at the start of a downtrend? Or is it something more like a bull flag consolidation, something like this, for the next leg higher? So that's a question that I'm ultimately waiting for, waiting to be answered. Honestly, as long as we remain above 460, I don't think that that's going to be a big question of a big major point of concern. If you remain above 460, I think that there is really no doubt about it that we're still in an uptrend. However, it's something to keep in mind because typically when these trend lines are broken, especially these major ones that capture a larger trend, that's where we can start thinking to some counter trend moves or the transition and a trend from uptrend to potentially a downtrend. But we don't have the confirmation just yet. We probably want to break back below 460, 459, probably something like this if you want to think about downside. But this could also just be at the same time, you know, it could possibly be something like this. I don't know what that arrow's like that. But yeah, those are the two scenarios for me. And ultimately, if you remain above that 460, we do look good on the buyer's side. If we start coming back below 460, we could look to some more counter trend moves, potentially as the start of a new downtrend. So that's the larger time frame analysis on that we see so far going into the week. Again, just be wary of the counter trend moves down. I do think that there's more room on the pullback coming into 460, but ultimately we just never know. And that bull flag could break out at any point that we just mentioned. And above 471, we could really start to see that next rally back to all-time highs. It's all on the table, but we do have to remain, uh, aware of both perspectives and seeing which side will begin to dominate, especially seeing that first red candle on the weekly chart. Is it something more significant, or is it just the pullback that we're all waiting for? Getting a lot more granular on the 5-minute chart here. Let's see what we have. So you can see that we did come in. I mean, there's no question we're in this sort of downtrend, at least a micro downtrend. And we came up, created a new high, and we're seeing right now new low, sort of the similar high, but ultimately we're seeing now it's a bit of a double bottom to end the Friday session. So if you really want to come in and say that this is a reversal, we're going to start to come in and begin a more upside continuation. I'd like to see us, really, I guess I can put this a bit above like this. I'd like to get us back below, back above this swing high of the session, this 470 area. So if you can get back above 470, 471, I think it looks really good for bulls to continue upwards, especially because you're now putting in a new higher low from this low. So should that continue, I'd like to see this, first of all, these highs break, but more importantly, this swing high break as well. I think here it's a little more neutral. If you're just trading in between this range, there's really no direction. But if you do end up breaking this swing high, I think that's a big turning point for the bulls, and I think a lot of sellers are going to start, retreating from their positions, given that this is still an uptrend, and that we do have room higher on the break of 470. So the question is there, do we continue that uptrend? Is this higher low something to be, is it something of significance, or are we going to see something potentially like this where we can't sustain that and we start, you know, coming lower back below these lows, this double bottom isn't valid. If you start seeing something like that, and then we can look to downside potentially below this swing low. But other than that, I do think that we are neutral in this range between 468 and I would say 466. But below 466, I do see some downside. So remain neutral here, and then of course bullish above 470, 471, bearish below 466. So I hope you guys enjoyed that analysis. Again, if you like this analysis, you want to be a part of the shows every morning, just feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel down below. We're more than happy to answer your questions live in the moment as the market plays out. We are here live every morning for the first 30 minutes of the trading session. And if you guys want to join our Discord, see our analysis, ask me questions directly, our Discord is in our website, which is also in the link below. So thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully tomorrow, tomorrow if you join us for the live sessions. And yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for listening, guys.